start with the obligatory recording of my neck. Okay, so let's share the screen. Okay, so now we are in, no, I thought let's see, so let's go back to Slack. And it must be here. Okay, so I am going to fork this. And now I will clone. And so now let's go and atom this. Okay, so here's the to-do list with SQL. Let's look and see what the README tells me to do to set it up. Okay, clone this repo, I did. Install all NPM packages, NPM install. By the way, for code reviews, I'm gonna start requiring that you put this, that you have a README with instructions for how I can get started with the project. Create and load database. You don't need to do that right now, Brittany. So great, and then look at this. I don't even have to think. Okay. Yeah, one of the engineers at a place that I worked said that all bug reports should be written so that he could understand them if he had like 2 hours of sleep and was hungover, right? So this is really good. I can walk through this even if I've only had 2 hours of sleep and was hungover. So good job. All right, so let's okay. How did I get those 3 tasks? I'm guessing because, yeah, you seeded the database. Oh, but I noticed that I'm like just hanging for a little while before I get my prompt back. So we'll want to take care of that. Maybe I didn't. You didn't close your connection. Yeah. So let's, okay, and let me see. Do we have tests here? We do. Yeah. So, because I see some, like even the interview place, some guys are struggling with testing SQL. So that's why I want to have this. Nice. So let's do an NPM test. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. So I didn't have such handy instructions. Package JSON. Uh-huh. You need to run separate commands for this. Got it. Okay. So testdb create and testdb load schema and testdb init data. Actually, that load schema, it does both of the. Oh, the schema also inits data. Maybe the receipt does all of them. Oh, reset. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Drops, it creates. Ah, I see. Okay, okay, good. So I'll do the reset. So I'll do a create and then I'll do a reset. So this is awesome. I'm loving all these NPM scripts. Okay. All right, cool. So now let's try NPM test again. For passing, and yet it hangs. So here's a trick that I learned. if you want your tests to just exit cleanly when they're done and not hang on the database connection. And here's a fair warning, I do not know that this is officially the best way to do it. But if you do exit here, that will, if we now do the NPM test, so then it gives it back to you right away. In the package JSON, I'm running Mocha with a -- exit flag. I will push these. I'll make a pull request with these changes for you. Okay, so cool. All right, so now let's go back to Adam. What did I do? Wait, what happened? Oh God, why does that happen? I have to figure that out. Okay, so, all right, so let's start with just tasks.js. Assigned a value but never used. Very bad. Do you use ESLint?
No. It's we don't work well together.
I would strongly recommend you make friends with ESLint because it helps you with stuff like that. Okay, so switch, although in general this looks pretty good. So, okay, so now we're getting the command from the second one, the task name from the second one, and the ID, or from the third one, and the ID from the third one. So I believe you can do this in Python, and I'm guessing, no, apparently you can't do it here too, where you can say ID equals task name equals. In Python, you can do that. You can set two things equal. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Yeah, so something you can't do in JavaScript. If somebody has spaces in their command, which is highly likely, you are just taking the first word. So I would do a slice. Let's see, dot slice 3 comma. Oh, here, let's just do the demo of only taking the first word. So if we go here, I'm going to say npm start add walk the dog to the grocery store. And now if I do an npm start list, oh, I just have null. That's even worse than I thought. I thought it was going to be walk. Oh, it's because I did the slice here. So let's try that again. Yeah, so it's just walk, right? And so what we want is to do slice from the third index to the end, and then join. So slice returns an array, and then you join that array with spaces. So what's your problem? Isn't that how slice works?
No need that.
Just 3? Okay. Better. Okay, so cool. Then we're in command. You have this list, add task, remove task, fine. You're doing a switch command. All right, so you add task, task name, you just list, you complete task ID, and you remove task ID, or you say command not recognized. Okay, so that looks good with the addition of this up here. Now let's look at your commands. Okay, so now we have get all tasks. Ooh, is get all tasks? Oh, it doesn't like that formatting. Okay, so get all tasks, create tasks, delete tasks. Close connection is assigned a value but never used. So I'm gonna remove that. Require database DB utils. But if you do have closed connection from database DB utils, does the closed connection just end? Yeah, okay. So I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it into tasks. Okay, and then at the end here, I'm going to close connection. Now, can I do that? These are all async, huh? So if I do, close connection is not defined. Thank you. Is this going to close it before we're ready? I am recording. Yes, thank you. No, that seemed to work okay. Let's make sure that it works with add and so forth. Oh, it's a duplicate task. Not added. Okay. Okay, so this looks like this is a good thing to do down here. Cool. All right, so let's go back to commands, which ESLint is very angry about. All right, so we're render. Okay, and filtered, I'm guessing, is a filtered list, but you need to have a JS doc here. I want to see what's going on. I don't want to make guesses about what's going on. Okay, so you have the description, you have the task. What's your problem here? Oh, I'm not even going to worry about that. So you're doing a map on filtered. You're taking whatever the task is, and you're returning the task ID and the task description. You're returning a string with a new line at the end. And then you're taking that array that returns and you're joining it on a space. So that's great. And then you are returning this. So, oh, I see. You're combining them. So you're returning a string. So the return type. So again, like I want to see up here that your return type is a string, and I want to, and I want to see like that this is an array, and I want the descriptions and all of that. Okay. You were here yesterday when I talked. Were you here yesterday during office hours when I talked about this doc blocker? Yeah. So the doc blocker, it's an extension that allows me to do the before a defined function. It allows me to do /** tab, and it will give me a template of what's going on for that particular function. So you notice up here it gave me filtered as a parameter and so forth. It is an Atom plugin. Do you use Atom? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so if we look, it's called Doc Blocker. Okay. All right. So you're returning get all tasks .then. So I like to see the .then here. And when that is there, you need to, okay. Okay. All right, so and you can customize ESLint. If there are rules that you don't like, you can say, don't tell me about those, right? So I really recommend that you get ESLint working to your satisfaction. Okay, so you're taking all tasks that come out of this get all tasks, and you're doing filtered equals all tasks.filter. Yeah, lovely. Console log. Okay, for finished code, I would not have the console log in here. There are also plugins, by the way, that like can comment out all your console logs or remove all of your console logs.
Because otherwise, nothing is shown on the
Oh, I see. Oh, this is part of the the actual output. Got it. Okay. So render filtered and render. Where's render? Oh, here it is. Got it. Okay. I see. Okay. All right, good. So you have filtered length tasks, and then you console log the message, and then you return the message. Why are you returning the message here? Okay, so I would say if you are returning the message for testing purposes, I would actually return both. Well, I guess the all tasks, you're sort of, but you're not dealing with the filtered all tasks ever. I'm guessing you're never testing the filtered all tasks, right? Because at this point, it doesn't look like there's any way for you to do it.
Yeah, I think I will just test that it will show me that message after.
So yeah, so if you wanted to have more robust testing, and in some ways more modular code, I would return filtered message, and then I would make this function sort of like get. I would call this like get list data, and then I would have another function that actually console logs. It's strange to be console logging something, and the only reason that you're returning it is for testing. You should never have to change your code because it's testing. You should never have to have different code for testing than you would have otherwise. Does that make sense? So here, I would, and let's just go through this since we're in a live code review anyway. I would not console log the message, not console log render filtered, but, and then I would say up here, I would make a new function and I would call it print output. And I would say task array message, and maybe I'll do message task array because some of these are really only having a message and not a task array. So so we'll do message task array so that the task array is optional. And so I'll say if task array, no, that's not how we do things in JavaScript. If task array console log task, or it's not array actually, task printout, right? Because that's basically what it is. So okay, so if you have that, then do that, and then console log message. So now I have, and then down here, I'm going to say list. I'm going to call this get list printout strings. And then for list, what's that?
So printout strings.
Printout. And then for here, I'll say const list is going to be return get list printout strings dot then print output. Oh, and it doesn't like me putting this before. So I'm going to put it after. And then it doesn't like my indentation. And now it just doesn't like this. And actually, here's a case where I might actually just do this because it's such a simple function. Okay, so why are you so mad at me? No, that's okay. That's okay. Just indentation. This indentation, indentation. Okay, so you really you can do, yeah. Okay. All right. Now we're all happy. Although we're not all happy. Okay. Okay. All right. So so yeah, so you see what I'm doing here? So now, like, I'm not returning anything simply just to test it. Now I'm returning something, and then I'm going to have this print output. And as a matter of fact, I might, I don't know, I might, instead of doing the render here, I might do the render in here, since I think you're rendering basically everything, right? Or no, you're only rendering once? Maybe you're only rendering once. But I might think about combining these two. Okay, so render is never used. Right, so we can do, so this really is a task. So that really is a task array. So we can do that here. Shall we see if everything still works? Okay, so we got, let's see. Oh. So this is not good. So why did, oh, because this is returning an array and this is taking a list of arguments. So we have to do the spread thing. Do you guys know about the spread thing? Yeah, neither do I. Okay, so yeah, you do it before, like this. Like this. Let's see whether that works. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, I think it 3-dotted the message. So maybe, I mean, in a Python, I would just return a tuple. Yeah, but that's, we're not in Python land. Okay, so yeah, so we can say, and then we can say, we can deconstruct it. So message. Wow, you're really upset with me. can't you destructure arrays? Task array, oh, const. Can I do that? Okay. All right, let's try this. Okay. Okay, so destructured, yeah. Same way that objects can. Yeah, so, okay, so good. So I'm gonna, because we've taken over half an hour on this, I'm going to commit. Is there anything else you'd particularly like me to look at? Okay, and then once that's done, GitHub is just so cool. It's like, you want to make a pull request? Great, make a pull request. Okay, live code review, structured code somewhat accounted for hanging code due to lingering DB connection. Okay, so now you've got a pull request. Brittany. Fascinated to know what Slackbot has to say to me here, but it might be private, so I don't want to like embarrass Slackbot in front of everybody. Okay, so let's clone this one. Oh, but not here. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm guessing you don't have, well, you don't have a README here. So I will take some guesses as to what I'm supposed to do. I am first going to do an npm install. Okay, and now I'll add dot. Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't fork it though, so I'm not going to be able to push changes. So let me actually. Okay. Oh, well, that's not what I meant to do, but whatever movie search was, it's gone now. All right, so now let's go into here again, and let's actually fork it. Okay, and now I can clone or download. Now my tab complete works great. Now that I've gotten rid of that other conflicting directory. All right, so cool. So now you do have a license. You don't tell people how to use it, but you do warn them to stay away. So there's that.
Good, right?
Yeah. You don't want anybody making money off of your movie search CLI. Okay, so, and then I want to do a git checkout -b live code review. And now let's add them. All right, so you have your git ignore, and you use the standard git ignore for Node, which is fine. You have your license. It's good. Copyright 2017. All right, and then here's the movie search JS. Okay. So, Brittany, do you use ESLint?
Yep.
Why is my ESLint so angry with you?
Because sometimes it's wrong.
It's true.
That's good. Always blame the other person. All right, here's search term is what data type?
It's array.
It's an array. And my guess is that you don't ever really want it to be an array. Yeah, I would join it. It works. Where do you use search term? Oh, so I guess if you're using it as a string, it just gets yeah, it just gets joined. So let's actually, I really, you are using it as a string, so it's better to explicitly join it here. All right, options. Okay, so here's the URL search term. All right, so I would, especially because this is something that's constant, and so I'm gonna put this up here. And we've talked about this before. I'm going to say const URL template is going to be this, and I'm going to make it a string. And instead of putting the search term here, although since your search term is just this anyway, it's probably not that big a deal, but I'm going to put a %s here. Do you remember we talked about string formatting? So %s means I'm going to replace this later. And then my URL now is URL template replaced with search term. This is just a little bit cleaner because here now, if you want to know what it's just separated out up here, especially because the URL, I would definitely do this because the URL is a constant, right? It's not something that's going to change every time your script runs. And I always try and keep those up top in case I ever want to change them or find them easily. Okay, and your, oh.
So that little percent is just like a...
It's a placeholder.
You can use like interpolation just the same? Or?
Could you use interpolation?
Could you use interpolation?
Yeah, you could. Yeah. But this is better if you have something that's going to be in the middle and you are going to be using it a lot, right, with different terms. This, I mean, especially because I'm only doing this once, I could just say const URL equals and for this, I would say this is equally good, if maybe not a little better, because you're only using it once. But let's say you were doing a for loop, and you were going to be replacing with a different search term every time. Then it would be really nice to have this %s here. And then every time you could say, okay, this every time through the loop, I want to do URL template %s and then whatever I'm on for this thing in the loop. And it's just much cleaner than having this long, somewhat convoluted string, right? Getting your, yeah. Another thing that you could do, polluting your code. To finish that sentence. Another thing that you could do, because this is a query string, you could actually do Q equals search term at the end, right? And so you could actually just do Q equals like this. And then you could say URL plus search term. Because this is just query string. Order doesn't matter. Wait, no, okay, we're good. Even better would be to have this be server or IMDb server, and then to have okay, so now I have my options in a more readable form if I ever wanted to change them. And now I'm going to look. I don't know how to do this in Node, but I'm sure it's possible. So Node create URL. Let's just see. Build URL. Great. All right, so build URL. So you give it a server, a path, and you give it query params. So let's actually use this. This is probably overkill for a project like this, but since I'm doing a code review, if this were production code, this is what I would do. So let's see how it's actually used. And then URL is going to be build URL. So IMDb server, and then we're going to have okay. And why do you hate me so much? Boy, people are going to listen to this and be like, that Bonnie, she's a real whiner. So build URL. It's not defined. I thought it was. All right, well, I'm going to ignore you for a minute. Build URL example, and then you have all of this. So I have a path and a query params. I do not have a hash. Not sure what that is. Okay, so build URL, IMDb server, path, IMDb path, and query options. So I'm going to say, here I'm going to say query options. Oh, and because it's out here, I actually don't feel bad doing this. And I can say Q, because remember that, you guys understand why I'm using Q there? Because a long time ago when we started, let's go back here and just look at it. So the way it goes is the search term goes with the key Q. So Q is going to be search term. Okay. And so now I can now do query. Let's go back here and see how you actually do that. Query params. And so I think I'm just going to call this query params here so that I can just say query params here. Okay. Build URL is not defined. Okay. Oh, God damn it. Okay. All right. Oh, this is mild. Okay, so, all right, any questions on what I did there? Again, like I said, it's overkill for this, but since you had like 4 lines of code, I decided, you know, part of the code review was going to be just showing you. And so this is much, much more maintainable, because if you decide later that you want to add something, you know, add a parameter to your query, super easy, as opposed to trying to edit that URL in place.
So in future projects, when we're doing HTTP requests, this is a good tool.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's good to get in the habit of doing this, even though it might be overkill for the types of projects that you're doing. It's just, yeah, this is just, this here is much more readable and maintainable than this. This, you look at this and you're like, I'm not going to try and understand that. That just looks like a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, like it accomplishes what it needs to accomplish, but if you wanted to change it at all in terms of what you were searching, it would be very difficult.
Right, right. So that's the maintainable. Exactly. Okay. All right. So fine. So then we have that. Okay. So now now we're using HTTP. We're using request. Okay. So for request, you give it the options, which we had here, and then its callback is a function. And ESLint does not enjoy that. So we'll do this instead. Okay. If there is no error and the response status code equals 200. So we always use triple equals because double equals might give us results, false positives. And I would say, I would do this differently. I would say if error, console error, an error occurred during, let's see, retrieving the HTML. And do this, and then we'll do an process.exit. And I'm going to do a 1 here. Have you guys seen that before? Yeah, the 1 means this was not good. And probably almost all of your quizzes for phase 2, there was a question how to tell if a process exited successfully. And I'm not sure, executed successfully. And you check for the exit code. You check for the exit code. You can do that in the shell. And if the exit code is 0, it was successful. If the exit code was 1, it was not. It's not standard output. It's an exit code.
Is that like, even if you don't have process.exit?
If you don't have the process.exit, it's going to default to 0.
It defaults, so there will be a process.exit somewhere.
It will have an exit code of 0 if you don't specify.
But I mean, I see, but you don't have to have.
You don't have to explicitly.
.exit of any kind in the code in order to get an exit. That's
correct.
One is
yeah, but you can have different exit codes. So like if this is going to be communicating with other processes, you might have a 1 if the error occurred with the HTML and a 2 if the error occurred with Cheerio, or whatever, right? But anything other than 0 means failed. Okay, and then I'm going to say if status, let's see, response Now you all know about what that response is from the lecture on Wednesday. So if response.status code is not equal to 200, and I actually often just say dot exiting here, just so that the person on the command line knows that, like, don't expect anything else, like it's done. And here we will also, but again, we could have a different exit code here, but I'm just going to do a 1 here as well. And then, okay, and so now I don't need this if. I'm just going to delete that if, because that condition, if anything happened, would be taken care of up here. Okay, so Cheerio.load. Okay, so this I would definitely do like that to make it more clear. Yes, it exits your script. I mean, like, so doesn't matter if, you know, like this function and anything after it, like you're done. Yeah. It's like nothing after this line is going to get run. Okay. So TD result exit each. We'll just do this. Okay. And then, so var a equals $this. There's no real reason to do that. I'll just do $this dot text. What's that? I have to change it to this is what I have to say to you.
Well, you don't need the variables. Just change the word this.
Okay. I still need the $sign? Yeah. Really?
You can see it in my GitHub.
Oh, Cheerio, you're so weird. All right. Okay. Is this necessary? Apparently it was. It was just, okay. And now. All right, now what's your problem? Okay. Okay, so let's
Something's gonna happen, but it's fine.
what's gonna happen? Tell me what's gonna happen.
So this is where, okay, so right now if you were to run this for Finding Nemo, based on the Cheerio selectors, it would return the movie title, the year, and the third thing it required, and then in some cases it would return extra information.
Oh, okay. Well, we're at 10:30, so we can't talk about that. Oh no, that's the only thing you wanted to talk about. I'm sorry. Well, first of all, let's. So if we do node movie search Finding Nemo. Okay, and right. So you don't want like episode 74 and all of that. I know somebody who really knows Cheerio. And what's that?
We talked about it. She said she found like a way to hack around it.
Oh.
Regular expressions.
There's actually video on this too.
Maybe I'll watch the video.
Okay. All right. Let me know what you learned. But for now, this room is being taken over by zombies. No, wait, hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. What were you saying, Brittany?
Oh no, I